first of all, tell us about your job as a film director, producer, and writer. How?
Some of those things I do separately and some of them I do together. But luckily I get to work with a lot of different really talented people. Primarily I'm a film director. I produce and direct narrative films. They're scripted, documentaries, advertising, things of that nature. And I've been very lucky to do it all over the world with all kinds of really, really great people. And that's the fun thing about film. You get to collaborate, and being able to collaborate with lots of talented artists is a really unique thing to do for a living, because you get to learn a little bit about a lot of different things. So I kind of think of myself as a generalist, because you have to be to work in film. You don't know a lot about everything, but you know a little bit about a lot of different things, and that's kind of cool.
So these restrictions right now that will happen if shooting starts again, do you think that the coronavirus will keep influencing the film industry for long term, as in maybe forever?
Well, I cannot make any pronouncements about forever, but I do think that anytime there has been a historical crisis, right? If we look at the flu of 1918, if you look at the 50s, polio, all these different elements, those events in world history have always had an impact on how things happen after, right? And so I do think there will be thought processes now about sanitation on film sets that maybe there hasn't been before. Because as I said, it's not that film sets have always been disgusting at all times, but there are times when they can be disgusting. And you don't really think about it because you're in that rush. I think that will change. I think that the unions, the Screen Actors Guild, IATSE, all of the different entities that, represent the interests of people that work on film sets will demand it, and that will not go away. And rightfully so, by the way. I'm not against that in any way. I think that we need to be keeping people safe on a film set. And we do that, we strive to do that now. I strive to do that now to make sure that, we're running reasonable hours, people are getting, following the right safety procedures. As I'm sure you probably have done some research, Sarah Jones a few years ago when she was killed because of recklessness on a set in 2013 on Midnight Rider, that changed a lot of the safety procedures, the physical safety procedures on a film set. And equally, I think that coronavirus will do the same thing here. I'll give you an example. One of my people that I've worked with for years, my director of photography, is getting ready to do a project in Northern California for a few weeks. And one of the things that they have initiated is that he is going to be the only person touching his camera, his equipment. It will only be him. They're drawing boxes to give spaces that are only his space to be in, to make sure that no one else touches it, no one else comes in his space, and they're able to effectively, hopefully, mitigate some of that risk while we're looking for a vaccine or palliative measure for coronavirus. And that's one of the things I think is temporary, right? I don't see that going beyond coronavirus, because I do think that it's not practical in the long term for most film sets for people to be 6 feet apart permanently.
It's fine for now, but not forever.
Fine for now, but I don't see that happening forever.
Exactly.
But what I do see is some of those procedures, for example, wiping down your equipment when you're done using it with a Clorox wipe. I think that probably will move forward. Is it more work? Yes. But I think that this will linger in the back of people's minds so strongly that that will be something people expect. Cleaning bathrooms on sets, making sure there's not communal foods on sets, having prepackaged foods on sets, boxed lunches on sets. I see those things moving forward, absolutely. I'd be really surprised if we went back to, say, a buffet style meal, or we're not doing any of those type things. That's going to change for sure.
And the restrictions about physical contacts, they will disappear, I guess, because actors just have to kiss, hug, even shake hands, I guess.
Right. And that creates interesting, problems today creatively, and when I say problems, I don't mean that in a way, where I don't think this is a real problem we have to grapple with, but it creates an interesting creative challenge to say, how can we do that? And so I think that, in the interim, a lot of the measures that will be taken include quarantine, non-exposure, temperature checks, things of that nature. I've also read and heard some people talk about, locations that need big cities. how can we do this digitally, where we're recreating, downtown Los Angeles as a green screen backdrop. The technology has changed so much. Why do we need to go to downtown Los Angeles to film? It's cheaper, and it also requires no contact. So that's going to be stuff that changes. And then the third element, of course, and this is one of the big ones that it's very interesting to think about, is that most films, most television shows have extras or background talent. Extras can sometimes be a dirty word, so retract that. Background talent. Background talent are the people that, populate a scene. So if there's an actor here and an actor here, and we're in a big room, there's going to be all the people roving behind, right? It gives reality to a film texture. What happens with that? Because, if you have 100 background talent on a piece, that's a lot harder to control because it might be for one day or a few hours. And so I think that in the interim, you're going to see a lot less of that too. So these are all kind of creative challenges that we have to answer, and the answers we come up with, I think, will definitely apply some of them moving forward.
Yeah, because background talent, you can quarantine them, so it's a problem.
It's not the same thing, unless you have background talent in the entire film that's consistent, but that would be you'd have to be very creative with the way you do that.
Exactly.
And so there's a lot of questions with that, and so I think that some of these answers will really impact the way we move forward. But again, I think a lot of them also will be temporary measures while we're trying to find a vaccine or palliative element for this disease.
Yeah. Thank you. Very interesting. Yeah, I think
everything is pretty clear to me. I think we covered the most important questions.
Thanks, guys. Good luck and stay healthy, be well, and thank you for your time.
You too.
Thank you so much for your time as well.